and opinions of the guest and host you hear on 1010 WOLB are not necessarily those of the staff and management of Radio 1, its sponsors, or advertisers.
And Yahshua said to the Pharisees, you will love Yahweh your Elohim with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your mind. This is the first and great commandment. And the second is like it. You will love your neighbor as yourself. On these two commandments rest, not hang, but rest all the law and the prophets. Shalom, shalom, Yisrael. This is Yahweh with you here, Yahweh for Christians at gmail.com. This is 12:15:19. Pleasure to be with you here once again. Show me your ways, Yahweh. Simple. It's simple in Torah Land, because in Torah Land you have two laws to go by. Two laws, and they're very simple. And everyone would agree to them. Treat others the way you would have them treat you. And you treat others the way you would have them treat you. Love Yahweh with all your heart, might, and soul. Who would disagree with that? 100% vote in Torah Land. Two commandments. So important and so beautiful are those commandments. You have a passage in your Bible that is right in the middle of the Bible, at least if you go by the Old Testament. Psalm 119 is right smack in the middle of your Bible, and is divided into 22 parts. Each part for each letter of the Aleph Bayet. 22 parts. And it's about the beauty of those two commandments, just two. 176 verses about those two commandments. Let me share with you just the first part of it, which is entitled Aleph. Aleph is the first letter of the Hebrew Aleph Bayet. Blessed are the undefiled in the way, who walk in the law of Yah. Blessed are those who keep his testimonies, who seek him with the whole heart. They also do no iniquity, they walk in his ways. You have commanded us to keep your precepts diligently. Oh, that my ways were directed to keep your statutes. Then I will not be ashamed when I look into all your commandments. I will praise you with uprightness of heart. When I learn your righteous judgments, I will keep your statutes. Oh, do not forsake me utterly. You know, when the non-Hebrew world came across these words, they were much moved and stunned and unbelieving of how beautiful this was. And they were captivated by it. And that's why they took it, they seized it, and they wrenched it from you. Because you didn't want it anyway. You didn't appreciate it anyway, so it was taken from you. And they took it and repackaged it and gave it back to you in a whole nother unrecognizable form. If you want to be a real activist, if you want to be revolutionary, if you want to talk about keeping it real, then keep the Torah. That's revolutionary. You know, there's nothing more toothless, nothing more castrated, nothing more unthreatening to your oppressor than a self-identified black Christian Democrat who then becomes so-called enlightened and puts up the fist for black power. That's the grand slam of foolishness. No threat to society in any way as a black Christian Democrat talking about black power. See, I've been talking for what? A year now about this 400 years of us marking time. I was in Marine Corps, and they have a military position called marking time. That's when you mark time march. You march in place. You stay right where you are. You're marching, but you do not move forward or backward. You stay in the same place. There's a reason for that, but I'm not going to get into all that. But it's called mark time march. And we, as so-called today African Americans, have been mark time marching for over 400 years. Marching in place. Marching and moving and not going forward. I've been trying to use so many different examples to get this to be understood, to receive it in your mind as I'm trying to speak it. If you had a race, you had a horse against a turtle, and you're sitting there and you have no idea what a horse or a turtle is, and the race begins, the gun goes off and they move. The horse wins. Okay, you come back the next race, the horse wins. How long would it take for you to realize which of the two animals are going to win the race? And then, would it take you 400 years to figure out who's going to win the race? Every time a horse goes up against a turtle, the horse wins. You can break it down, give bullet points of why the horse wins, okay? He's bigger, he has more muscles, legs are longer. I mean, you can give a whole list of intelligent, visible reasons, objective reasons why the horse wins the race. I used to play football for Baltimore City College. Put up us against the Baltimore Ravens. Ravens beat City Knights every game, every time. You keep putting down $100 for a ticket to go see the Ravens versus Baltimore City Knights. And every time the Knights get crushed, don't even score. Will it take you 400 years to figure out which team is going to win? Once again, you could break it down of all the objective reasons why the Ravens beat the high school City Knights. Marching in place. And anyone who thought differently, you would question their intelligence. You see, if you had a sheep, and let's look at it like this, because things aren't going to change. The horse will always beat the turtle. The Ravens will always beat the Knights, the City Knights. You raise a sheep and a pig in your home. From the womb, they've never been outside your home. They've never known anyone but you. You raise them, you feed them good, treat them well, they clean, they eat good, they grow up fat and healthy. You let them out into the field, into the backyard, into the pasture. And there's nice, beautiful plush grass. And then there's mud piles over on the other side where you had maybe some compost over there. The road is not paved over, so you got some mud over the side. Do you think that sheep will, on his own volition, go and wallow in that mud over there? And then it's time to feed them. The sheep will eat the grass. You might have some special corn or something for the sheep. He will eat the grass. But if you offered him garbage and junk and mush and pellets, the sheep would not eat it. And the sheep would not naturally go over there into into the mud pile of your backyard and just wallow in it. But that pig, having no history of ever eating anything but healthy food, would gladly eat the garbage that's out there, eat the compost food, and wallow in that mud, having no prior history to doing so. Because it's ingrained, it's in the blood, it's genetic. So this situation, this plight that you're in, you will always be in. If there was another 400 years of you doing the same thing, because who is listening? So am I the only one who can think? I refuse to believe I'm the only one who can think. Who has common sense, which is not common. Because a sheep will always be a sheep, a pig will always be a pig, a snake will always be a snake. And there is no, don't get caught up in superficiality of so-called race. It's not that. This is a spiritual condition. Torah land operates on 2 commandments. Do unto others you have them do unto you. Love you with all your heart, might, and soul. But you're too busy out there watching Black Panther and lining up, getting in long lines for chicken sandwiches and trying to get Harry Tubman on a $20 bill to buy something you don't need. Let's take, I said last week, let's take South Africa. Give us South Africa. Well, we still got, I think there's still 3 gold mines left that they not finished raping. Because you cannot start anything. You can't start in a nation. You cannot have rules and laws about having land. Let's take South Africa. Give us that. You got a group of people who have North Africa. They were persecuted all across the world. Every nation, they were persecuted, and they got a land. Fine. Matter of fact, even one cemented their ownership of it by winning 2 wars up there. Good. Fine. I agree. Keep it. That's a good thing. I'm glad. You deserve it. You earn it. The whole world was in cahoots and gave it to you. Fine. Good. Give us a land. Anybody who loves the Torah, who believes in the commandments, the 10 commandments, take South Africa. That's my vote. And it's not about any kind of race, color, or nothing. It's about whoever loves Yahweh with all their heart, might, and soul, and loves their neighbor as themselves. Because the psalmist said, ask of me, and I'll give you the nations. Listen for a Nabi to blow the shofar. Oh, the blowing of that shofar will put fear in the elite because they know what it means. Listen for the Nabi to blow the shofar. See, something is big is happening out there, Israel, y'all. Yonathan Wheat with you here. Y'all wait for Christians at gmail.com, 443-306-3518. It's huge. It's so big, you can't even get your mind around it. And if we can't get you to accept something simple like the name of the Most High, how can you even hear a Nabi blowing the shofar? It's a simple thing. The simplicity of the Messiah. One, in that day, one would chase 1,000. 10 would put 10,000 to flight. Yahushua said that one of you can chase 1,000. How can you do that? How can you do it? It's so deep. You're not. It's so deep. I don't even know if I can even explain it all. But it begins in the Iberit Aleph Bayet. 22 letters. I remember I mentioned that about 4 or 5 months ago. Just mentioning it, talking about the so-called martial arts moves that correspond to each Iberit letter. And I never even so much as posted a phone number and told anyone to call and got so many calls in on that. You wait until I give you this information in this next book. And you have not heard it anywhere but here first. Because what do you think they were doing out there with Moses for 40 years before they went to the Holy Land all day and night long? They were doing something. They were learning how to fight. And each letter and combination of letters have the moves to do so. How do you think Abraham with 300 men got his cousin Lot. He was no fear. He knew how to fight, and so did his men. What do you think Jacob and his 10 sons used to fight? They took down whole cities, city after city after city. Jacob and 10 of his sons. How do you think Samson killed 200 at a time? How about David? Shaul said, "You want to marry my daughter? Give me 100 foreskins of the Philistines." David went out and got 200. Who was he, about 20 years old? How do you fight 200 men? And we're talking about warrior men. You think they stood up one at a time and just waited for them to slay them and kill them? You think they just stood there and laid down? You couldn't even kill 200 little boys who just let you kill them. Imagine 200 fighting men coming at you. How do you do it unless you know this law, this word, unless you know the Hebrew, unless you know the letters? How do you fight? How do you do that with men all around you and coming at you? How do you have the energy, the endurance, and the strength? And how do you think Yahweh Shua got away, not once but twice, when the mob came against him to kill him? You wait till I unleash that letter on you. I'm telling you, you are the X-Men and don't even know it. You are the X-Men and don't know it because you have been bred to fear. You have been bred to be toothless and non-threatening as a black Christian Democrat talking about black power. You were told you were black. Nowhere in this entire Bible, even the King James Bible, does it call you as a group, as a nation, identifies you as a black person. Nowhere. Nowhere from cover to cover are you identified as a Christian. Nowhere, including those 3 times you see the word Christian in the New Testament, there was no such thing as a Christian. And nowhere in all the pages of the KJV do you see the nation casting ballots of who's going to be their king. And in nowhere do you have anybody raising their fist for black power. Wait for the knob to blow the shofar. So when you identify yourself by what you're told to be, then the one who tells you who you are is your superior. And that's why after 400 plus years and going, on every statistic of something bad, you're number 1. And in every statistic where there's something good, you're last. And you still think the turtle is going to beat the horse. You still think that the high school team is going to beat the NFL team. You still going to see the lottery balls come up and the same way for 400 years, and you're going to still put $2, a $2 bet on your numbers, and your numbers never come up, and you're still going to do it. What words do I have for a mind that thinks like that? Look, live by the book and keep y'all's covenant. See, there's a reason why your Jewish brothers do not accept your Jesus Christ. And there's a good reason. There's a lot of reasons. I don't accept your Jesus Christ. But there's a good reason why your Jewish brothers do not accept Jesus Christ. And there's one book, one chapter that tells you specifically why. Deuteronomy 13. Because in Deuteronomy 13, it tells you, Hebrews, not to accept anyone's doctrine who tells you not to keep the law. Yet you claim in the New Testament, Jesus Christ did away with the law. He did away with the law? Well, then he's a false prophet. So in that vein, you cannot get any Jewish convert to Christianity. When you're telling him that they got a prophet in Jesus Christ who did away with the law. When they know Deuteronomy 13 says every man who says the law is done away with is a false prophet. And it doesn't make sense that the law can be done away with. It's impossible. That's because you don't know the Iberite words. The Ark of the Covenant is the mercy seat. Even in your King James Bible, it's called the mercy seat. And on the mercy seat is the 10 Commandments, which even in the New Testament, that the scribes and Pharisees, that Israel was judged from. So it still was in the temple at that time. They judged from Moses' seat by the 10 Commandments, the mercy seat. So why is the 10 Commandments called the mercy seat? Well, think about it. I had to get here to the studio today. I drove my car with understanding of certain laws and rules of driving. So when my light was green, I had faith that the other drivers was not going to run their light and hit me. I had faith that someone was not going to just swerve in front of me against the laws of driving. I had faith that the lights will work, that the car will work. There's rules and laws about everything. If it didn't, it would be anarchy. The law is merciful, because without that, I don't expect to go home and see somebody just lighting my house up on fire because they feel like lighting it up on fire. There's laws against that. There's rules. I expect my car to be in the parking lot. The owners of the station expect me to pay my bill. There's rules and laws. It gives you order. Those who will not be saved are lawless. So how can someone say the law is done away with? So if you go home and somebody has your wife, don't worry about it. Go downstairs and watch TV until he finishes. It's foolishness to say the law was done away with. That's what you say. See, the true word for mercy seat is kaporet. That's the mercy seat. Kaporet. Kaporet. It's the mercy seat. And the law in Torah land, you will have mercy, because you will have a law to live by. A law that the Most High Yahweh Shua prayed for you, called Techenol. That's intercessory prayer for mercy for you to keep the law. I said last week, please take time to read those boring books you don't like to read. You like to go straight to Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Read Leviticus to tell you how to live a Kodesh life. Then read the boring book of Numbers. See, Numbers is deeper than what you even realize. Before the word, in the beginning was the word, and the word was with Yah, but before the word was the numbers, the matrix, because the word operates on the matrix of numbers. Before the fall of man, 1 plus 1 was 2. After the fall of man, 1 plus 1 was still 2. Mathematics never changed. So that's that way, and that's a good thing, because even in your whatever interpretation Bible you have, because of the mathematics and because of the matrix, because of the grid that the words are laid on, you still can get a foundation of truth out of it. You don't need some special Bible to get the truth out of it, because of the matrix that's laid down. When you see them building roads, you look on the highway, you see a metal grid they put down before they put the cement down. So the numbers is the grid. All the words that man puts on top of it has to go on that grid. So no matter how much Shaitan lies, he has to lay those words on a grid of truth. That way, with Ruach HaKodesh, you can get the truth out of any Bible. Then read Deuteronomy, which is Debarim, which is words. Read Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. But you like to go straight to what you think is the good stuff. That is the good stuff. That is the foundation, the grid to all of the Bible. Read Psalm 119. I think I'm going to go ahead and do each letter for the next several weeks of Psalm 119, which is right in the middle of your so-called Old Testament Bible. If you're serious about if this land was serious about making things better for you, they will let you go to a place. See, whenever society is serious about eliminating problems, they physically get rid of the problem. You know, Moshe had 5 refuge cities. Europe sent all their indigents and their problems and their unemployed over here to America, all their criminals, they sent them over here to America to help populate this place. And then it worked so well, they did the same thing to Australia. Whenever you want to really get rid of you want to fix a problem, you get rid of the problem. Well, if we such a problem, get rid of us. Let us go. Give us a place. You did it to the Jewish brothers in Northern Africa. Give us South Africa. You tired of all the crime? You tired of all the things you saying we are? We're the first thing to highlight the news. We're the first thing in the newspapers is all about. Then let us go somewhere. Wait for a Nabi to blow the shofar. Torah Land. The land of people, of the married people who love the law. This country is lawlessness. How can you look at this? How can you just spread the blood of righteous leaders? There's a history of it with this country, a history of it. MLK, Malcolm X, Medgar Evers, RFK. How about Hampton and Clark, 21 and 22 years old? At that age, I was just as stupid as I could be. What would you do if Lamar Jackson was killed at 21 years old? You wouldn't have went to the playoffs last year. And you wouldn't be the top thing in the NFL this year if that man was gone at 21 years old. Such a young age. But you have precious blood being spilled by men who are doing good works in this country. And one of my favorites, who no one ever lists amongst those assassinated, is Bruce Lee. See, but by 1973, though, they stopped being brutal with their killing and their assassinations. His was done in a more smart way. So they started getting smarter with their assassination. But you'll be out there pushing for Sheila Dixon to be your next mayor. You'll be out there doing the same thing. If this station was here 400 years from now, the same topics will be spoken of. Same thing, nothing different, nothing changes. Nothing changes. I looked at the news before I ran out of here again this morning. 311 calls. How fast they responded on depends on where you live. That's news. So that was news. You didn't think that. You think it's shocking that a certain neighborhood would get responses faster than your neighborhood. Maryland schools, they're in the debate again, trying to debate about how to get the schools better. North Korea is testing long-range missiles. Rocket Man hasn't gone anywhere. You're too busy talking about Trump being a peach. But I told you last week, he said that denuclearization is off of the table. He said that last week. We still having a battle with China in the trade war. UK is leaving the EU. Netanyahu is being charged with accepting bribes. They want to take pictures of you in the airports. I don't care where you're, in the bathroom, anywhere. And your W-2 and your W-4 forms are going to be more complicated. The news is the same every day. It doesn't change. What changes has to be you knowing who you are and your relationship with the Most High. You loving yourself. Per this book. Per this book. But I want to leave with you something powerful. I read from you Enoch last week. I got one more one to read from you. This is Enoch 10, verses 4 and 5. And those men said to me, this place, Enoch, has been prepared for those who do not honor Yahweh, who practice on the earth the sin which is against nature, which is child corruption in the anus, in the manner of sodomy, of witchcraft, enchantments, divination, trafficking with demons, and boast about their evil deeds, stealing, lying, insulting, coveting, resentment, fornication, murder, and who steal the souls of men secretly, seizing the poor by the throat. taking away their possessions, enriching themselves from the possessions of others, defrauding them, who, when they are able to provide substance, bring about the death of the hungry by starvation. That is what you see today. That's like being in the front news today. How many thousands of years was that written? It was like the news this morning. And that's why I'm here every week for you. Week with you here. YahwehForChristians at gmail.com. Shalom. Shalom.